G'day and welcome back to the channel, everyone. I'm your host, SmilePie, and today we're playing Railway Empire 2. So we're up to episode 5, and checking our task list, you can see that we've got to reach 60,000 citizens in Albany. We're up to 40 and a half, so we've got another 19 and a half to go. So let's jump right in, click on Albany, we'll look at the needs that we need to fulfill in the city here. So meat, they're not getting cloth. They have milk, but we're not supplying the milk. So we'll need to establish a milk connection. We need vegetables, and also coming up we'll have fruit, we'll have dresses, and we'll have wooden planks. So, and then finally, by the time we get to 60,000, we'll have our liquor there. So all of those businesses are around. We've got the milk up here to the north. We've got veggies out here to the northwest. Back towards Boston, we've got a fruit farm out here. So we'll need to ideally we'll purchase that. So let's have a look at the cost of this place. 102,000. Remembering we'll get a 35% discount, so that'll take us down to 65-ish or so. So let's purchase that. Let's see how we go. And we come in at 66. So my arithmetic is not bad today. But it's not bad most days. It's not precise, but it is not bad. So purchasing that, we've got bugger all money left now. So let's give it some time before we start building. So last episode, we talked about potentially building the milk station and crossing this river only and then coming down and making our connection here, which would enable us to have milk going here, milk going to Boston, and then cheese also going back to Boston. So that's a nice plan. So that's what we'll be doing once our money builds up. So let's put the game on a bit of a faster speed, see how we go. Now, the other challenge that we need to make, or need to meet, I should say, and we'll talk about meat as well, we need to get fabric, or textile as it's known, from Bangor down to Albany, because it's not currently being met. Alternatively, we could take textile from New York up to Albany, but we'd need to create a station here and break in there. So we just don't have that sort of set up at the moment. So, but let's focus on getting the milk and the veggies. We'll get the fruit. We'll look at how we can improve meat delivery from Boston, because we've only got one freight train. So we'll see if there's a freight, like a delivery issue, or just a general supply issue. So let's take a quick squeeze at the supply side here. So we're full as when it comes to cattle. The I think the level of production is holding us back in Boston with meat. So they're demanding almost one per week, and we've only got one in the city here. So if we go to the meat industry, we're producing 3 meat per week. So we're supplying the towns of Portland. Oh, and Portland, let's pause the game. Portland's grown enough to have an industry here, so we need to have a think about what we want to put there as an industry. So we were talking earlier in the series about having a dress making factory there. So ideally, we'd go and do that. So let's go and look what we're going to pay for our dressmaking or fashion industry. That sounds a bit more la-di-da. So if well, you know, and anyone who knows Smile Pie knows how la-di-da I am. Naturally, we're going to build a fashion industry. So So let's save up for hopefully no other industrialist comes in and takes our slot. So you know that's another thing. I hate it when people take my slots. So let's try and get that arranged. So we need an extra 150 grand, and we need it before some other jerk comes in and steals our space. So, but Smile Pie, I'm here to watch you build railways and give me railway tips, not to build industries and give me tips on industry. Well, you're bloody here for all the journey, not just the rail journey. That's what I'm telling you. So let's have a look at our results just briefly. Um, Freight is down, passengers are up, mail's up, production's down. So we've got a serious problem going on here. We've got to work that one out. Our costs are up, um, and but we spent a ton of money on factories. So there you go. We've got some things to think about. Let's check our research while we're waiting as well. So what have we got? We've got we can do the detonators, so they increase reliability by 5%. So that's let's actually save up for the tenders. Let's do that. So and we just can't afford it. What a son of a bitch. So let's pause the game again and go back to our auction. Should I buy it? Nah, let's not worry about it. Let's just keep speed running to have enough money to build the fashion industry. So we're getting there. Hey, what happened to the money? We must have paid for something. How annoying. Let's go back to our finance. We can borrow that much money. I'd say one of our loans must have timed out somehow. So let's pause that. Oh, I can't pause it while it's on the screen. How much money do we want? Can we take 1.1 mil? Let's do that. It's 5%. Just we'll just suck it up. Yes, we're issuing the bond, and we could repay one of these if we wanted to. So let's pause that for a moment. First up, let's build the dress factory fashion industry in Portland. And we'll build them all next to each other because it's convenience. Now, did that even build? Fashion industry. Yes, it did. All right, so we're already supplying fabric from down to here. So the network of F2 freight trains that we have, where we take goods that we produce in our cities to adjacent cities, will automatically pick up any production there. So that will take care of that. Now, back to our actual task. So we need to get Albany up to 60,000. So let's get this milk station going. So station building. Let's put the topography on. So that's our topography is our friend. It's nice to have friends. But Smile Pie, you've got bloody loads of friends. You're into trains. You're into computer games. You're the top of the social apex. I bet. That's right, baby. I am. I'm just doing this for it's my form of charity to the world. So now here's that quirk that I bloody hate. Hate's a strong word, and I use it on purpose. But there we go. Let's build that. Let's build the bridge. Do we? Money's not an issue, is it? Just like in real life, let's just spend the money while we've got it and worry about the rest later. Um, but smile pie, that's so irresponsible. Be more bloody, frugal and sensible with your money. Maybe I will. Maybe I am. Who knows? But so we're going to get this rail line to turn to the south, and we'll try and join our track on here. And seeing this bridge, which I forgot about when I was planning this, bloody hell, we've shot ourselves in the foot very badly. But let's try and get a track that comes out of here that doesn't suck. I think it's going to suck pretty badly. Nah, I'm not going to bother doing that. Let's try and do it from here. Let's be a bit more. And even that, we're only going to have a connection going one way. So I've completely stuffed this, unless. Well, we're just not going to get out of it without having two bridges, and so that's really inefficient, unfortunately. Let's build this up. Bridges. We can't bloody get away from it. Look at it. That's so crap. No, that's going the wrong way. That's going up. Bloody hell. We're stuffed it. This is terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. The milk. Maybe bring the milk all the way around here. Oh, gosh. No, we've got to make a decision. We've got to do something. We could go through the mountains. No, Gimli. I would not take that road through the mountains if I had but no other way. Jeez. I don't. Well, train nerds. Obviously, I'm quoting Lord of the Rings. Hopefully, there's no copyright strikes or anything like that if I do such wild things. But I just can't make this bloody work in my mind. Well, forget about your crazy mind. Just make it work in real life. It's a good idea. Okay, guys, you'll notice there's a massive jump cut in the editing of this video, and I have, after much fluffing about, I've just gone ahead and built this alignment that you can see here. So if I was to turn on track building, you'll see the direction of travel. The milk station's been realigned north to south. So after much buggerizing around, I decided that this approach here, where my mouse is, wasn't going to work. So I just moved it over to here. So that's the way that we're going to do it. I've got some other tricks that we're going to do to have the trains bypass Albany and go to Boston as well. So that's the way that we've gone. So I didn't want to expose you to any more struggles, but if we just have a quick review of the track, you can see there's a bit of earthworks because we've dug into the lower hills, and we've built a bridge, and we've built our station here. We've got our gridiron. So let's build a train or two. Let's build two trains actually. So we will go from the milk station to Albany first up. So let's do it as a freight train. We want milk. We want it full. We want to rename it as F1 milk. And we want it to go to Albany. And that is our naming convention. There's only one locomotive to select. We're going to have one. That's confirmed. And that's that one. So that will pop out here and it will start filling up with milk. And I also want a milk train going to Boston. So let's make another one. So milk to Boston. So you can see the route there. Let's do the same thing as our other train. That freight. Can't select refrigeration. Milk's good to have refrigeration on for some reason. I just can't think of it at the moment. But obviously, keep your milk refrigerated if you want it to last longer. And in this game specifically, you get a 25% boost to your revenue for milk delivered. So that would make your cart worth or your carriage worth $2,500 rather than $2,000. So that's the functionality of milk or refrigeration carriages in this game. So that's milk to Boston. That's done. Let's unpause the game. Now we'll have two carriages here. So very good. So there's one. There's the other. They'll start filling up. Our milk farm will produce 1.6 carriages per week. So the trains will be waiting here a little bit, waiting for the milk to be produced. Now, the other thing that I had a look at while I was fiddling about with our milk line. So first up, let's go to the warehouse, and I'm also gonna put milk into this warehouse here, so that way it can get transferred up the line as well. So that's milk. We need more freight trains between Boston and Albany. So I was having a look at what's going on with our production here, and you can see the meat factory has tons of meat stacked up. So we're good there. We're just not transporting enough of it to Albany, and that's why when you click on Albany and you look at their supply of meat, it's that now because the train must have just come in, but before, when at the start of the video, we had zero meat. So let's go ahead and put a second freight train on here. So we've got our F2 Boston to Albany. It's currently carrying beer back to Boston, so that's going to pull in, and let's see how much meat it picks up. But I think if we had a second one running, we'd have more consistent supply in Albany itself. So our freight train is waiting for a platform to clear, so we may need more platforms in Boston pretty soon. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and add that because I don't want to wait around for it. So we've got two trains now, but let's watch this train pull into Boston and let's ride along. That's always fun. Can we see anyone worth seeing on the platform here? So got old mate. He's looking to leave town. He's had a bad experience in Boston. I don't want to imagine what his bad experience was, but I'm sure it's got nothing to do with women. But I'm sure it's just an employment situation, and he's moving away to find a better job. So let's get out of here. So just waiting for it's being serviced. I suppose that's good, but I was going to see what we get loaded up with. Anyway, let's not worry about that. That'll take too long. So we've got the milk hooked up. That'll start producing cheese, and that'll be helpful when our towns are bigger. So that's getting up there. Let's connect up these veggies. So veggies into Albany. That's what we want. So you can see we've fulfilled the milk here. We still need the textile, but we're going for veggies next, and we're ready to do the fruit as well. So let's get on to the veggies. So I think we'll come down here, and it has to be only a one way connection, which it's just going to be that way. So let's do the station first. Do we want to cart bricks one day as well? It doesn't hurt. All right, let's build it in the. There we go. Now let's get you curving. So let's start you back closer to that bridge. So as soon as we're off the bridge, we're curving up, and we're building up just a little bit. Maybe no, doesn't want to build up. That'll do nicely for a start. Let's get you doubled up, and we can run it straight into our station here. Let's play with my little quirk. Yeah, it's 0 and 1% with 36 grand in earthworks. We can afford to have a bit more grade because we're going through a bit of a hill there. So we're saving 15 grand. So that every bit helps in the early game. So yeah, we just borrowed $1 million before, 1.1 mil to do our factory, our clothing, fashion industry. uh, there we go. Let's build us a. How about you speak proper refined English, you Aussie, yeah, proper refined Australian English, please, and not bogan talk or redneck talk. As fun as both of those options are. So we've got a station. We've got our supply tower. Now let's build a train, and we'll also have Albany has a warehouse, so let's set Albany's warehouse to collect veggies as well. So veggies for Albany, good stuff. And let's add fruit on there. We haven't done the fruit connection yet, but guess what's coming next to Albany. I'll give you one guess, and if you don't get it, mate, mate, you're bloody struggling if you don't get it. So uh, I'll let you in. It's fruit. We're doing fruit next. So I hope everyone got that, because if you didn't, then I think we'll be giving you a special seat on the glass licking bus. That's what you'll get. So John Bull, freight. We want fruit. We don't want bricks. We want it full. That's bloody good. That's perfect. Boom, boom. Let's do that. And I will actually run 2 trains. I'll be daring and run 2 trains. So we're going to have 2 trains of veggies going to Albany. They're going to store in Albany. And then our freight trains, our F2 freight train, Albany to Boston, is going to run the veggies from Albany to Boston. That'll get picked up automatically, and we'll be loving it. So you can see there's our first full train of veggies leaving the station. They're going slightly faster than walking pace, so that's good. You can see our old mates driving the train at their leisure. He's a rough man. Look at him. Love him. So let's get out of there before we all get too excited. Now, what were we talking about? We were talking about fruit. Well, that's a fitting segue for after looking at that handsome gentleman. Uh, let's get this fruit platform built. That will fit in, and we want to. So I was thinking to have a double connection, so where we curve that way and curve that way, and we can come along and make it in there. So if I was going to think about the end game, I would you'd want to minimize the number of tracks you have running through your city area because it just takes up space away from your future urban sprawl. But I don't think we're going to face that specific problem in this scenario. So let's just be a little bit inefficient and hog some space from the future urban sprawl. Yeah, you can curve around there, and you will make it and be fine. So that's nice. Connecting in, that's also nice. We've spent all our money now, so good on you, Smile Pie. Look what you've done to us. Let's unpause the game. If time is moving, we can earn some money. And we still need to make that other connection because I want direct trains into Albany for this. So I think we already set our fruit before. We don't necessarily need to set fruit for Boston, but yeah, if we had a fruit train run up to Portland, for example, that would be a good way to send the fruit up to Bangor as well. So, because via the warehouse, so the warehouse would build up fruit here, and then the F2 between Portland and Bangor would take fruit up to Bangor. So that's what I mean by in the previous episode I talked about leapfrogging resources. So that's an example of how you leapfrog a resource from skip past one city to the next. Let's connect that. Whoops, hold on. Building. I don't like that. Why does it say -5? That is just bloody bullcrap. That and that. There we go. And we need a second one to come along as well. So where did I don't know where that one went. That's bizarre. Now that's going to bugger things up, isn't it? Sometimes there's errors in this game, and I can't explain them. I only know, well, as in I can't explain why they happen, but I know how to fiddle with them and fix them. So that's an example of a little bug or quirk or whatever you want to call it that sometimes happens, and when it does, I know how to fix it. So, but right now we're going to save up for $23,000. So let's put the time on and see how long it takes us to get 23. Shouldn't take too long. Famous last words. There we go. Boom. And we also up to more research points. So we've got one more month until we get our tenders, and then we'll be able to build things a bit cheaper, which is always welcome. So we've done that. We've got money for trains now, so let's build a train or two through to Albany. So let's do our naming convention, F1. And it's fruit to Albany. Very good. Now we want it to be full, so that's full. And we want it to be a freight train, and we want a John Bull train, and we're having one of them. So it's 18 grand, so that's done. Now let's do the same, and we'll run them to Boston as well. So, but do we have a gridiron? I think we do, don't we? We just built a gridiron before, and it's right on screen in front of us. So good on us. Now let's do the Boston fruit train. So that to that naming convention. So if it's F1, it's fruit to Boston. So that'll work. It's a John Bull. It's a freight train. It's a full of apples train. We don't need to do anything to that. And again, fruit is a product that you refrigerate, but we haven't invented the refrigeration cars yet. And I don't think we will in this scenario because it doesn't go to that period of time. So you can see our fruit train is starting to fill up. So that is looking good. Now our fruit farm itself will produce 1.2 carriages per week and it stores up to 12. So this will be waiting here probably for another week and a half while these two carriages fill. So there'll always be trains waiting about down here in order to work. So looking at our fulfillment, we've got 84% of demand fulfilled in Albany. So we're doing all right despite not having textile or fruit. Somehow we got clothing. I don't know where we pulled that from, but good on us. If we did want to find out where it was coming from, we could fiddle around with the flow of goods. Um, yeah, I'll be buggered where it's coming from. So Albany, where are you getting your dresses from? Don't know. Not telling you. Have it your way. That's fine. Let's check on our F2 Boston line. So that's one that's full of meat. So that's just waiting to pull into Albany. And then we've got the other one coming back with veggies, corn, and beer. So that's working well. Um, so looking back at Albany, we need to get to 60,000 people. We're on just short of 51,000. So that's not a bad situation. So we're out of beer. So we're producing as much beer as we can. We're stocked with grain. So now's about the time where we start to get those little bottlenecks from our industry. So if you play the game um, where you don't buy the industries, the 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 game itself would upgrade these businesses by themselves. You can see here we've made 192,000 bucks from our brewery, and if I go to upgrade that, it costs us another 400,000, but we'll be producing far more beer. Um, so we'll get around to doing that once we have a bit more money in the bank. So, but for the time being, we're getting there. We are getting there. Now, what else do we need to do while we're here? We've connected to all these resources. Oh, Bangor went down. I'm not too phased about that. Let's not worry about Bangor too much. But I do want to be able to get uh, the textile up here. What's on our other list of wants? I want to be able to pay down our debt because I hate having debt. Syracuse is dropping down, so we're not really paying good attention to Syracuse. So Syracuse could do with more meat, I'm sure. Meat, wood, corn, everything. It's suffering from totally a total lack of supply of everything. So let's have a look at our quarterly report. Freight's up, passengers are down for some reason. That's a bit weird. Um, Mail's up, production's well up. So that's yeah, by doing not that much different, somehow our production's up. So good on us. Um, Expenses are tracking. We constructed a bunch of track, bought some new trains, bought a new factory. So we're going all right. Look, our research just come up, so let's do tenders. So reduces the construction cost of all buildings, including factories and railway buildings, by 5%. What did you say? Smile pie? Pronounce railway buildings for us again. Oh, bloody leave me alone, smart asses. How about that? Yes, yes, we will. So look at the congestion. When you zoom out, you can see how many trains are queued to get into Boston. So the easiest and simplest fix for that problem would be to add more platforms and add like just lengthen the gridiron. So that's what we'll do as a just as a an easy low hanging fruit fix, but eventually we're going to have to duplicate our network or separate our freight and our passenger network. So you can see these our gridiron is set on max number of tracks. So let's have that. And my other little thing I like to do, just get rid of track overhangs. So this will reset some of those trains back to their station of origin. Um, Unavoidable. In the scheme of things, it won't make too much difference. Now, a question in my mind, which is it worth centering these lines into the middle of the gridiron? And my answer to that is probably not. Like it goes fine anyway. So if I zoom in and we look at our station, you can see we can see 3 of the platforms are already occupied. This is our F2 passenger train, so that's not taking anything from Boston back to Portland. That's a shame. That's a annoyance. We've got our passenger line, which is taking bugger all people up to Portland. So actually, it's it must have just arrived and it's turned around. It's ready to go back up there. So we've got our freight train taking all that meat, and we've got another express train getting serviced. So that's Boston Station. Bit of congestion going on there. In total, though, how many trains do we have out of there? We've only got 10 trains running out of there. So having 4 platforms, you can see the express trains are pretty they're pretty profitable, whereas the freight lines are not that great. But that's how it is. So up to 54,000. So we're getting there in Albany. So you can see our trains are waiting to be loaded at the veggie farm and the milk, the dairy, I guess you should call it. Anderson breeding. That's you could call it a dairy. You could call it a breeding farm. That'll work. Fruit tree farm. So acquisition cost 66,000. We're making $4,000 a week total profit, which we've already made back the cost of purchasing this. So they're worthwhile investments, the businesses. So all right, we are getting closer and closer, and I will wrap up this video and we will reconvene for the next one where we will complete Albany to 60,000 people, and that will do us. So thank you all if you've made it this far. Remember to like and subscribe and comment. Tell us where in the world you're watching from and what you think, any thoughts. And remember, with small bites, any pie can be eaten. Thank you.